Hello students, welcome back to this session with the same chapter Microorganisms Friend and Foe for class 8. Students, today we are going to study about the harmful and useful effect of protozoa. In your previous lecture you have learnt about what is the protozoa. Okay, what is this protozoa, what is their habitat, what is their nutrition mode of nutrition, what is their type of reproduction, and so many things about protozoa. Today we are going to study about the harmful and useful effect of protozoa. So students, as we know that protozoa are found almost everywhere. It is in water, in moist places, or the soil, air, even within our bodies, other animals, and also in plants. So these protozoa also having some harmful as well as some useful effect. Okay, so today we are going to study about these all. What is the useful effect of this protozoa? First of all, this is helpful in sanitization. What do we mean by sanitization? That means cleanliness, and to keep our surroundings clean with the proper with proper following of all the rules which is good for sanitation. Like nowadays we are very much attentive about this kind of sanitation, spraying all this like sanitizers, always wash our hands so that we may keep the place sanitized and also to protect ourselves. So here some protozoa which are lives in water body, as we know that they are water, or they also live in water. So what they do, some protozoa that help in purification of water by feeding on bacteria. That means some bacteria, those who live or those who present in water, and that means that bacteria may be harmful bacteria, they make the water pollute. So that means these protozoa feed on this bacteria and prevent or protect that water bodies from the bad effect of this bacteria, and they keep water safe for drinking purposes. So that means this protozoa, they get food by feeding on bacteria, and also they helps in water bodies, like various water bodies, like making the water sanitized or keeping water safe for drinking purposes. So that is the useful effect of protozoa. As we know that protozoa also live, basically the protozoans are aquatic in nature. Okay, so this is the one use of protozoa. Now, as food, some protozoa in zooplankton or plankton of sea, they are the food for bigger animals, and that is bigger from the protozoa. So these kind of protozoa, they are food for the big fishes or big animals. So these are source as a food, as that means they are source of food for fishes, and we eat fishes, so they also supply food at supplements to the man. So these protozoa used as food, and it is the source of food supplies to man, fish, and other animals. Symbiotic protozoa. As we know that, what do we mean by symbiotic? That means this some kind of protozoans, they live in symbiotic relationship. Okay, and we know that what is the beauty of this symbiotic relationship, that they depend on each other, they benefit each other without getting them harm. So here also protozoans, like for example termites, they live in the body of that termites, and what they do, as we know that termites, they eat wood, they feed on wood, and that wood are made up of cellulose. So these termites do not digest the cellulose. So what their protozoans do, that protozoans digest the cellulose and convert into carbohydrate, and then these termite use that cellulose as food. So that means this protozoa help in giving food to the termites, as well as if it is in symbiotic relationship, there might be also these protozoans get their nutrition or derive their nutrition from these termite and shelter also. So that means they are symbiotic protozoa that helps the termites to get their food. Next, here is commercial use. Some protozoa, like when the protozoans they dead and decayed, and over the period of time, these protozoans and their body is made up of silica and calcium carbonate, and we are very much known about the use of silica and calcium carbonate. That means the importance of silica and calcium carbonate. So over the period of time, these fossil protozoa turns into sedimentary rock, because the sedimentary rock formed by the layering and deposition of this kind of fossils, and over the time period, over the millions of time period, that protozoa, that fossils protozoa, they turn into sedimentary rock, and which is made up of silica and calcium carbonate. So what is their use? These kind of fossil protozoans have commercial use. So they are using in filtering agents, that means for filtering anything, abrasives. This means it is used in making the substances smooth by scratching them. The rough surface, they make the rough surface smooth by scratching or by rubbing them, like pumic stone, like sandpaper. These are abrasive, and it is also used making chalks, as we know that chalk is made up of calcium carbonate. So they are also used in making chalks and also making building stones. So that is about the different on various uses of protozoans. Now we will have to know about what is the harmful effect of protozoa. That means the protozoans, if they are useful, at the same time they are harmful also. So certain protozoa, like as you know, and as I told you, that protozoans also live in the soil. So here we can see that soil protozoa, several species of protozoan, that means different kinds of species of protozoans, because protozoans they are having also large number of species. So they are present large number in the soil, and again they feed upon the nitrifying bacteria. What is here nitrifying bacteria? If you recall, in your previous chapter we have learnt about nitrogen fixation. In that we have learned that how the nitrogen is converted into nitrite or nitrate by nitrifying bacteria. So some protozoa, what they do, they feed upon this kind of nitrifying bacteria, these are, and which is very useful for the soil. But they feed on most of the nitrifying bacteria. So what happens after that? Thus the decline their activity and consequently tend to decrease amount of nitrogen. It means when this protozoa feed on nitrifying bacteria, gradually what happens, the amount of nitrogen in the soil decreases, and if there is no nitrifying bacteria, it means they will not convert the nitrogen into nitrite and nitrate. That means least amount of or few number of bacteria is present. So it means the amount of nitrogen is getting decreasing by the because of this action of soil protozoa, because they feed on the nitrifying bacteria. Now we'll have to know about some pathogenic protozoans. That means pathogens. Who are pathogens? Those who cause diseases. So here protozoans also causes certain diseases, as bacteria and virus causes diseases. Certain protozoa also causes diseases. One is amoebiosis, that is caused by Entamoeba histolytica. It means this is also called amoeboic dysentery. Amoeboic dysentery, amoebic dysentery. इसमें what happens? The protozoan name is Entamoeba histolytica. What they do? Dysentery, it means loose motion, but the motion or dysentery with blood. So it may cause ulcer in the colon. What is the colon? It is the part of large intestine. So maybe because of this disease, that is amoebic dysentery, that causes ulcer in the colon, and because of that, during motion, the motion comes with blood. That is called amoebiasis. Okay. Then one is diarrhea. It is caused by some protozoa which is called Giardia lamblia. They are leads to loose bowel. Again, loose motion. Okay. Some protozoa, that is Trypanosoma. gambinase. They causes sleeping sickness. What it is means sleeping sickness in me, it means there is sleeping disorder. Maybe we can say the disturbed sleeping pattern. So person is suffering from disturbed sleeping pattern. So that is called sleeping sickness, and it is caused by trypanosoma, that is the species of protozoa. Then here leishmaniasis. It is caused by the species of leishmania. Again, it is a protozoa. And what they do, they leads to skin sores and spleen enlargement. Like skin sores, what does it mean? It means some sores in the skin, like inflammation, we can say some wound in the skin. And also spleen enlargement means inflammation of spleen. So that is called the leishmaniasis, and it is caused by leishmania. And very much familiar about this malaria, everyone knows about it. This malaria is caused by the plasmodium vivax or plasmodium, which is the protozoa. We know that malaria is caused by mosquito bite, but mosquito is a carrier. This plasmodium is the protozoa that causes actually the malaria, because that mosquito, the female mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito, they carry this plasmodium and protozoa, and that causes actually the disease called malaria. Like only sleeping sickness also, it is caused by testis fly. Okay, and this testis fly is carrier of this protozoa, trypanosoma. So that means these kind of protozoa not directly affect us, they need carrier. So like testis fly, like your female Anopheles, they are the carrier of this kind of malarial disease. So that is the what till now we have we have learnt about the pathogenic whatever their harmful effect. Okay, there is one another harmful effect of this protozoa that is left. It is water pollution. What happens? Some protozoa, they pollute water. Why? How they pollute water? Because they secrete certain kind of oil which is aromatic, but they produce bad odor, objectionable odor, and that converts water unfit for human consumption, animals consumption, all and all. So that means these kind of this kind of protozoa, they causes water pollution. How? By secreting certain kind of oil from their body which having a very bad odor, and it converts or it contaminates the water, and the contaminated water becomes unfit for human consumption. So students, might be you are clear what is the useful and harmful effect of protozoa. So in your next lecture we will discuss another topic about the microorganisms, friend and foe. Till then, thank you very much. Go through this video lecture and do your assignments. Thank you very much.